name is Lisa de Campuzano, your personal finance expert and the founder of the Legacy Creators.
And hi, my name is Rosalind Ortega Eli, and I am the founder of Urban Teach and a real estate investor / educator.
And we are Dinero
Twins. We created this podcast because we wanted to have conversations about money and business with the hopes of helping our community close the wealth gap.
So we came together to share our experiences as former 9-to-5ers. We're now working as full-time entrepreneurs. We do have a passion for self-education. So we wanted to come together and share our stories, share our experiences to add value to our community.
You want to tell us a little bit about your personal background and your experiences?
Yeah, so prior to me becoming a financial professional, I used to work as an educator, kids with special needs. And what inspired me to become a financial professional was not only to be able to educate myself or my loved ones when it came to personal finance, but at the same time, I wanted to, be able to educate many people in my communities and be able to do the same. So I founded a program called the Legacy Creators, which is an educational leadership development program. And the mission is to be able to break generational curses through financial literacy. So that's a little bit about me.
Yes, amazing. So I am a former hospitality executive or professional, whatever you want to call it. I started working in the hotel business at 18. So I was there for 23 plus years. Worked all the way from the bottom, all the way up to regional and corporate positions. With no college degree, just really a lot of hard work and a lot of, taking chances and teaching myself on doing a lot of things. However, those last positions were very stressful, very demanding. It was very hard for me to create balance between work, home, and personal life. So I had to figure out a way to invest my money as an employee into other sources of income. So my first investment was in a multifamily home because I wanted to create some rental income, some passive income. So that was done about 9 years ago. I then invested into other ventures, which have done really well for myself, for me and my family. And then about 4 years ago, I started Urban Teach because I wanted to teach my community about the different things that we never ever learn in school, like budgeting and credit and investing, personal, mental health and things like that. So I would bring on speakers from other industries to my events, to my seminars, all held in New York City. And now I have a virtual online platform, which teaches a lot of the material that I created throughout the years.
Woo-hoo. You guys hear it.
So, Dinero Twins, right? So obviously, as you can see, we are not twins, but we do share so many similar values. We are both, highly passionate about self-education. We are go-getters. We love starting our businesses and working our businesses and learning new things and making money. We are both from Dominican parents, proud Dominican New Yorkers. Yes. And lastly, we are both from the Bronx, New York.
Yes.
Stand up. So we thought that it would be amazing to come together and put this on for you guys. It would be definitely a mistake not doing it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Rosa, why don't we get into today's topic, right?
Yes.
So we have a really, really important topic put together for you guys today. And it was going to be, concerning about why you need to have more than one income. Okay. So with that conversation, it's going to be a mouthful because of the simple fact that, right now in today's day and age, and I know Rosalind can agree with me when it comes to that, having one source of income is to your demise, right? We feel like right now having more than one source of income is a necessity, right? It used to be luxury, now it's a necessity, right? So we want to make sure that we are able to position ourselves to have multiple sources of income, because having one source of income is too close to none. We got to experience that within the last year or two. We're talking about over 44 million people that apply for unemployment, which means that a lot of people, unfortunately, did not have a backup plan. We're not prepared to be laid off or to be put on furlough due to everything that happened in our economy. So we want to help people by having these conversations and helping them be prepared for whenever another situation like this does occur. What do you think about that, Rosalind?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great combo to have. In my example, my hotel closed during COVID. So that kind of forced me to decide to step into my other ventures full time. But at least I had that option, right? So I had built my business 3 years before that happened. I was working the job and building my business at the same time. And I also had real estate and rental properties that subsidized my income. So it wasn't such a blow to me to not have to go back to a job, right? I was kind of already set up for that. But there were a lot of people that didn't have that same luck. And, while it took me a lot of tears and sweat and sleepless nights to have all of these other components set up, it helped me in the long run when something like this happened, right? When the economy just kind of went down and things started shutting down and closing. My toughest decision was whether I should go back to a job or not. And luckily, I decided that spending my time and my 40 extra hours a week on my business was going to be more beneficial to me. But again, this is why you have to have a plan. And I encourage people to, use their job. I say this all the time: use your job. Don't let your job use you. So
Yeah.
that means use your income from your employer, use your time off to learn new things, use your vacation days to have meetings, to go and explore a different city, to go explore a business proposition. Just use your time and use your job. That should never ever stop you from being able to set yourself up to create more streams of income.
Wow, powerful. I mean, couldn't have said it any better. I definitely agree with you on that, Rosalind. I feel like we have the saying in business that says people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. And I do believe that, you mentioned it yourself. You saw how that affected you personally, but luckily you had set up the foundation for yourself and you had those multiple sources of income. So when your job did close, when the hotel did close, you weren't stuck, right? And it's one of those things, similar to you. I actually I had fired my boss, as I like to say, back in the at towards the ending of 2018, and I went full on into entrepreneurship, right? Did I make some mistakes? Absolutely, right? But do I regret it? No, because it was one of the best lessons that you cannot learn in business schools. And I'm so grateful for that. And that also showed me that I need to also have multiple sources of income. It didn't have to be within my own industry, which I do have the luxury to have multiple sources of income in within my career field. But I also was investing in real estate, right? I also was investing in the market, and that those different sources, those different revenue streams allowed me to not feel so constrained, not feeling like I had my back against the wall when we did have to close the office and we couldn't meet face to face anymore. Right. So it was definitely a lesson learned, but at the same time, I'm so grateful that I did the hard work before anything happened. Right. I think a lot of people, they don't see themselves being affected by something like this until it actually happens. And now they're like, oh, where do I start? Right. Yeah. So I'm so glad then and blessed to have able to gone through the experiences that I did, because it set me up financially to be able to, be prepared for something like that.
Yeah. So going back to that, let's talk about, just for like a quick minute, how we met, because we met right after you quit your job as a teacher. And we met at BronxNet, which is a TV station in the Bronx.
Yes.
We were both we were going to be guest speakers, right?
Yes, we were being interviewed. They had invited us to come to the show to share our experience, to share our services, right? And we hit it off immediately. We're like, okay, well, you're an entrepreneur, you're Latina, also from the BX, right? And it was just a chemistry that we know that we don't know how we're going to work together, but we know we're going to work together, right?
Exactly. And the funny story on my side is I actually called out sick from work to be at that interview. So this was like, the early stages of Urban Teach. And I was like, you know what? I got invited to the show to come and speak about my platform. Oh, I have to work. But you know what? This is more important to me right now. So I used one of my sick days as I was entitled to, right? Yeah. And I didn't feel guilty about it either. I was like, it's my sick day. Sorry, can't come to work. I'm going to this interview. And I did it. And I met you. I met a couple of other amazing ladies that were there. I met the host. So, I just wanted to mention that because I feel like people sometimes think that they can't do other things because they have a 9 to 5 and it keeps them from, exploring other options. But honestly, you got to make the time for it. If you really, really want it, you have to find a way to get it done.
Yeah. And also to add on to that, Rosalind, because you just shared that you called out of work to be there. And just thinking about when were you ever going to have another opportunity like that again? And even if you did, you didn't know that then, right?
Right.
So I often look at it like this: a job is not yours, right? You can't pass on a job to your kids, but you can build a business and pass that on, right? That can be part of your legacy. And I feel like what you did is that, you prioritize your business at that point. And I'm glad you did, because that goes to show people that, okay, I do have a job, but I don't have to feel like I'm limited by my job. Right.
Correct.
I can use my sick days. I can use my vacation days. I can use when I'm off of work and use that time to build something. Okay. And
Absolutely.
even it might not even have to be a business, but it can be a different income stream, right? Which is what we're trying to relate here. It's not just go and start a business, right? But it can be, well, look for ways that you can invest your money strategically so your money is working for you and you're not always working for money.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the number, right? So if you can get yourself, if you make $6,000 a month through a job as a salary, and you can get $1,500 off of this investment, to $1,000 over here, $500 over there, you can literally replace your salary with 4 to 5 things that you're juggling, right? And out of those 5 things, 3 things might take you time to build. The other 2 things just means that you have to learn a new skill, right? You have to learn something new so you can actually put in the sweat equity at first, which is learn what you need to learn, whether that's stocks, whether that's having an online store, creating a podcast like we're just doing, right?
Yeah.
So learn what it takes, and then you apply what you learn to build that extra revenue stream. So that's also something that I like to preach about all the time.
Absolutely. And to add on to that, for example, I didn't go to school for finance, right? I went to school for business. And I was one of those people that I said, well, I don't know where I'm going to end up. I didn't know what business I wanted to start, but I knew that I was going to have a business. I went into a job and I dreaded working first. I dreaded working for other people,
Yeah.
but I saw it as a way that it motivated me. Okay. Like I knew I wanted to be in control of my time. I wanted to be in control of my income. I wanted to be in control of my environment, right? Because sometimes we get stuck in toxic work environments and we want to get out of it. Right.
Yeah.
So I say use those pain points as a motivation. When I was out of work, I sometimes would be at work during my break and I saw myself doing, whether that is doing my own personal finances and making sure everything is in order. I would do it for my boyfriend. I would do it for my mom. And then when this opportunity came along, I felt like it was a sign from the universe saying, you know what, you can learn everything you need to learn about personal finance. You can help other people become financially educated. So to me, I said it's a no-brainer.
Right.
But maybe I was manifesting it in a way.
You
And then when
were.
the opportunity came along, I jumped full force. I learned everything I had to do. Like you said, I learned a new skill. I mastered it. And that is something that I still am doing for almost 4 years now.
Yes,
I
girl.
enjoy it.
And you smile when you talk about it because it feels good, right? That you
Yes.
created this whole lane for yourself. You didn't have to wait for someone else to do it for you.
No.
But again, you got to put in the work, which is what we both have done. And then on the pain point side, my biggest trauma was sitting in a cubicle for like 7 years straight. 7 years, 50-hour weeks. I had no windows, no view. I had a cubicle, a gray cubicle, I remember, all around me. And as much as I put like pictures of the beach and pictures of Miami and DR to keep me motivated for those 8, 9 hours a day, it would have me in such a bad state of mind because I was like, this is not the life I want to live. I do
Yeah.
not want to work in a cubicle till I retire. This is just not going to be the way. So with that trauma, I was like, I got to figure out what else I can do to free myself from being in that environment. So if you hate your environment, whatever that is, if you hate wearing a uniform, if you hate being in a cubicle, if you hate working with annoying employee coworkers or annoying bosses that don't know what they're talking about, like
Right.
all very real things. So you have to figure out what it is you can do with your skill. Everyone has a skill. Everyone is good at something. So it's just a matter of figuring out what that is.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Rosalind, what do you think we should tell people of a way to start, right? So, let's say someone's watching this podcast right now or they're listening to it. What can we give them that would allow them to get started somehow, some way, so they can put themselves to have a foundation and have multiple sources of income?
I would just say get started on the learning portion of it, right? So pick three different areas that might be very close to things that you like to do, right? Figure out first what your personal traits are, what your strengths are. So if you're a good communicator, if you like working with people, if you like working by yourself, if you're good with computers or not, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what would you like to see yourself doing? Three things, pick three things, because you can't pick one because you don't know enough about that one yet to decide on that path. But if you pick three and you learn about how all of those three areas work, then you can gather the information and make a better decision of where to target and where to go, where to aim. So that's what I would say.
Nice, nice. One of the things that I would say is understand or determine how much your time is worth, right? So, for example, when I was working a full-time job, when I was educating as a teacher, I will take home after taxes maybe like 24. I'll be lucky to take home 30,000 in a year, right? So when I saw myself getting into entrepreneurship, I saw, okay, if it takes me a full year to make 30,000, how can I divide my time so I'm making that, if not more, while I'm working at my job? I mean, while I'm working at my business, right?
Right.
So I saw myself when I started for my business part-time, I analyzed my worth and I saw that I was making that plus more working part-time in my
Wow.
business, right? So I would first say, how much is your time worth? If you're currently working a 9 to 5, whether you're making $15 an hour, you're making $30 an hour, what can you do that can replace that hour that would normally take you labor, right? You'll have to exchange your time for money at a job. What can you do to provide a service, provide a product, or sell something that would allow you to get that $30 from not having to work a job, right? So analyze how much your time is worth, and then you look for resources because there's so many opportunities there, okay, that would allow you to replace your time at a job while doing something else that you enjoy.
Yes, listen, and that's the key right there, right? Because we're so worried about the salary that holds us back. A salary is a number, right? Your weekly paycheck is a number. So if
Yes.
you figure out how to make that number doing other things, then there you go. Like you just bought yourself your freedom, right? And again, it doesn't start, it's not going to be that you start something and your income is going to be that number after the second week. You have to build up to that, right? You have to put in the time, put in the work. But yeah, that's a very important point. Break it up into numbers, into little pieces, and then put it on a sheet of paper and be like, okay, this is what I got. This is what I
Yeah,
got.
that's my goal. My goal is to make $30 an hour doing something else, selling a product, right? Providing a service, sales, whatever the case is, right?
Yes,
But you have a goal that you're shooting for. And once you become consistent with this, you'll start to see that you're making more with your side hustle or with your business or another source of income than what you're actually making with your job, right? And you're joining more because you have time freedom.
exactly. Like, and that enjoyment keeps your brain clear. It keeps you happy, in a better mood. And,
Yes.
if you stumble on something that you can't figure out, you start meeting people, right? That can help you too, that you can pick up the phone and go, I'm trying to figure out how to do this website. I'm trying to figure out how to do this, because you're going to be in that mindset as opposed to working the job. We've all been there, right? We work the 8, 9 hours a day. Then we get home, we're too tired. We got to figure out dinner. We put on the TV, you watch something on Netflix, you go to bed, and then you do it all over again the next
The
day.
same routine.
The routine kills the soul, is what I say. When you
Yeah.
have too much routine, it just drains you from any creativity at all. So definitely, something to consider. But this was a great conversation, Lisa. A great first episode.
It
Again,
was so
yeah,
powerful, right? We
so
really hope that
powerful.
everyone enjoyed it.
Yes, absolutely. So we're just gonna close out. So let's give us a closing statement for everyone listening. What would you like to tell us? Tell the audience.
Well, I would like to tell everybody that's listening to this that plan. Okay. The first step to everything is having a plan, having a business plan, having a multiple sources of income plan, whatever you want to call it, but call it your game plan. And you have to start there. You have to first visualize it before it actually comes to life. You have to see yourself there, see yourself at the end goal. Look at what you're trying to accomplish and what are the baby steps that you need to do, the foundation that you need to set to be able to accomplish that. So the first thing to everything is start with a plan and then execute it.
Yes, yes, very powerful. And the other thing for me that I want to add to that is mindset. You have to be in the right mindset, right? You're going to have to make some changes. You're going to have
Very
to
important.
unlearn some shit, like I say all the time. So most importantly, learning is great, but unlearning bad behaviors and bad ways of thinking is really necessary. So work on your mindset. There's many things you can do. You can read up on personal, improvements. You can talk to people that have done it, that have left a job, that have now pursuing entrepreneurship. So just make the move, make the step to improve the way that you think. And then you'll be able to visualize and see things from a whole other perspective. So that's kind of my 2 cents. Lisa, thank you. This was a great first episode.
Thank you. Honestly, I can't wait to have more conversations like this and be able to continue to add value to our community.
Same here. All right. So with that, we're going to go. Thank you guys. Talk to you again soon. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you found great value in the content shared. Make sure to tune in again every Wednesday and to also share our podcast link with anyone who can benefit from the information. Till next time, adios.